I know, hey, I am Mike Colllins, and I have been here before, but the last time I think I spoke, well, I was standing over in front of the window. So as soon as I read this morning where I was going, I knew I'd been here before. So it's great to be back. And man, what a crowd. I don't know if this is an average crowd or a big crowd or a small crowd, but I don't care if it's 5 people in the room. Just to have people engaged in such an important process right now, I think it's a testimony to see that you know how important this is. And everybody knows how important this race is. This one here is the one you got to do it. You don't take an incumbent down in his first reelect, man, that joker will be there till the cows come home, because everybody gets scared and more scared to run against him. So, but having said all that, that wasn't kind of the plan. Listen, I'd like to back up just a second, because I'm sure there's probably people in here that don't have a clue who I am. And that's fine. I've only been in office for 3.5 years now, and I'm on my 2nd term in Congress. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mike Colllins, born, raised, lived, worked the whole 9 yards in Butts County, Georgia, Jackson, little town of Jackson, and it's about halfway between Atlanta and Macon. 2nd generation in the trucking industry. My wife and I grew up, my parents hauled logs for a living. And then when I got married, I decided that I would get smart and go in the over-the-road business, the regulated side. But my wife and I started a trucking company a little over 30 years ago. We've got twin sons. They're 33 now. And they've been running that operation probably for a good 7, 8, 9 years, which has allowed me to get out and do exactly what I've been doing because, you know, they're both full-time jobs now. We've also got a daughter that is 28, and she's got 1 son, and she is as pregnant can get. I thought she would have that child before I got home this last night, but we're still on watch. We've got 3 kids and 6 grandkids, and then of course 1 on the way, so that'll make number 7. And supposedly it's the little fellow that she's going to have. So we'll give him 9 months. We'll throw him in dispatch, get him going. Everybody grew up down there. I grew up in my parents. I mean, I started work at age 12. I started work, and then my kids grew up down there. Grandkids are all down there. So it's a neat place. But having said that, I want y'all to just kind of picture in your mind, because I think this is important for you to get this mental picture. You're going to have the opportunity to make a choice for the U.S. Senate, and on this side over here, you're going to have me, just a old blue collar, small businessman, trucking business, 30+ years, getting the tar beat out of him, whether it was taxes, regulations, you name it. That's one of the toughest industries we got in this country. Able to take that experience, go to Washington, D.C., and be as conservative as you can be. I mean, y'all don't know it. I'm about as far right as you can get over there. But also to be successful in getting 2 pieces of legislation passed. Bipartisan legislation. I mean, the second one, Lake and Riley Act, do y'all realize that's probably the most consequential piece of immigration legislation in 30 years. They can't pass anything for 30 years on immigration. It took old Trucker to come up there and get it done in 2. and there was a method to get it done, and we could get into it if y'all want to later, but y'all realize that in 1 year, the report card on that little 3-4 page piece of legislation, over 20,000 illegal criminal thugs have been picked up, removed from the streets and gotten out of here, making our country safer. So I would say it was a pretty successful bill. Now that's what you're going to have over here to choose from. Over here, on the other side, you're going to have John Ossoff. Same thing, 1-term U.S. Senator, 1-term Congressman. He's had 4 years, 5 years to get something done. Hasn't accomplished anything except becoming California's 3rd U.S. Senator. This joker, this guy, he's never had a real job in his life. His money, the majority of it's come from California and New York. You don't think he's not bought and paid for? And the thing is, they get him reelected this time, that note's going to be called due. He will turn into California. That's going to be your 2 choices. And I look forward to people making that choice, because I know at the end of the day we'll come out and we'll win this thing and we'll beat that rascal. But here's the real mission, and right now we're not to that point. But y'all understand what the real mission is in this project or in this election cycle? It's just to put a Republican in that seat. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. I would too. I would agree. We just want a Republican. But you got to make sure that it's the right Republican. Because we've got several different factions here in the state of Georgia for Republican Party. And this is a midterm election. Now, we can talk policy all day long, but midterms are not like presidential. All it is red versus blue. Who's going to excite your base? Who's going to turn out the voters? Who's going to make the Republicans get out and go vote to get rid of John Ossoff? Same in the primary. Primary voters here, we've got our MAGA crowd. People straight up down MAGA that will not go vote for anybody unless Trump's on that ticket or a well-defined Trump candidate. Well, y'all, I've been with President Trump since 2016. I mean, I maxed out to him then. Every time he's ever run. And in the last cycle, the three candidates that you've got that are running on the primary side, we all had the same options. President Trump's out there running, you could have got out there with him. I was with him across this country. I went to Iowa when it was negative 40 degrees. I was with him up in the Northeast in New Hampshire, South Carolina. If y'all came to the Trump rallies in Georgia, you saw me there. I was up there on the stage ginning up the crowd before he got there. They know that. They understand that. The other side of the ticket, or the Republican Party here, I call them just the good Atlanta folks in the Atlanta suburbs. They just want somebody to produce some legislation, to do something good. Bipartisan's not a bad word. It's not a bad word in my book. And for somebody as conservative as me, I just want somebody that's going to help push good legislation, and I know how to do that. And those two pieces of legislation in just 2 years are proof of that. I think that's why we've got such a lead in the polls that we've got. I think that's why we're continuing to see the spread that we're seeing in the polls. But there's another thing I want you to think about when you're thinking about the right Republican. Because, and y'all know what, frankly, I mean, I'm in the 10th district. Do y'all realize what that is? That's a R24 over there. I don't know if y'all realize that. I mean, I could have sat fat and happy in there till I got ready to term limit myself, which would have been in another term. But that's just how important this thing is. But when you look at the elected officials out there that have gotten behind our campaign, I mean, we got over 150 people out there that have endorsed my campaign, whether they're county commissioners, sheriffs, House members, Senate members here in Georgia, all the way up to former Speaker Newt Gingrich has endorsed my campaign. And the reason they're doing that is because they understand that the top of the ticket is that U.S. Senate race. It's this race. And if you don't put somebody up there that's not going to be able to get the voters excited to go vote, then some of these down ballot races are going to have a little bit of problem. And so they're looking for the right person too. That's why they picked us. And the third thing I'll give you as evidence of what we're seeing out there is just the grassroots support. We've got over 800 convoy captains out there. Now, that's county chairs that we set up. We set that up in a little over 3 weeks. And it's grown to 800 plus people out there that are passing out literature, getting signs out, passing out the message, growing support. No other campaign's done that. Nobody else has done what we've done in all of these 3 areas. I need your help. If you're looking for somebody that's a proven winner, somebody that's just going up there to work, that's all I've got. That's all I'm good for is working. And I absolutely love it. But if you're looking for somebody that can win this race, that wants to do the job and can do the job, I need your help. I need your support. I'd love to have you vote. I'd love to have you vote in May. I'm not saying I can sew it up in May, but by God, I sure would love to, because we need all the runway we can get to take on that rascal. I mean, he's sitting on $25 million right now. And you don't think I'll tell y'all what, when Ossoff is running ads out there, it's Ossoff and 2 other people. One other person in the ads, President Trump. The other one, you're looking at him. They know who it is. They know who's going to be the eventual nominee. And so the quicker we can sew this up, the quicker we get this done. Hey, Brad, how you doing? Good, sir. Yes, sir. Good to see you. But the quicker we can get this sewn up, then the quicker we can move on to the real mission which is getting a Republican in that seat. I appreciate y'all coming out today. Man, it's a good crowd for a Sunday brunch. It is for me. But yeah, I got up and hit the 8 o'clock service at Rock Springs. So all I had to do was drop off by the house and tell Leanne I was headed up here. But hey, I'd love to have you ask questions if you want to. To me, that's more important than me sitting up here spilling my guts. Yes, sir.
Two things. First, in studying all the different candidates, I was impressed with you because I knew the statistic of most of these politicians have never had a real job. They're just politicians, and it's like 74% of them. It's only like 6% of people in Congress has actually had a real job. And your background, that's hard work, that logging and all this stuff. So that was impressive. But I'm most impressed recently with you questioning the 10,000 person facility in Hall County, which seems to smell very weird to a lot of Republicans. A 10,000 person facility smells like a concentration camp to me, and it's kind of like a concentration of people. Why do we need this? To deport aliens? I thought for deporting them we can just get them out. You know, why do we need this huge facility? Seems like the towns are not on board on this to the point where they shut the water off on this. Looks like another repeat, a bigger version of Cop City would happen there, where they just do it, whether the people vote on it or not. And there's a lot of questions on that. Can you address that?
Well, the Hall County is in Clyde's district. The Social Circle one is in my district, which is the one that I have been focused on heavily. And hey, look, I agree with DHS all the way. If you're here illegal, pack up your mess and go home. You come here legally or you don't come here at all. And believe me, I know we need workers. I'm going to get to it in just a second. But you done got me on my soapbox now.
That's good.
But I know we need people to help. But I tell you one area we don't need your help in. If you can't speak or read English, don't get in a dead blame tractor trailer truck and go down the road. There's a reason that we're called professional drivers. And I know I got my commercial driver's license in my pocket. I've had them since I was 18. We've got plenty of young Americans out there that will do that job. Our young people don't have the opportunities, and a lot of it's being taken away by foreign labor. Either they're coming over here doing it for cash, or they're coming over here studying in our schools, taking the jobs away that some of these people went to college for, and that's not right. So I understand it. Now, these are mega centers. These are ones where they go to for their final process before they're deported. And so I understand why they look for good areas to go before a judge. We'll just leave it there. And that's why they go from a small center to a medium to a mega, and then they're out of here. But in Social Circle's case especially, it was an alternate site. Social Circle really has a lot of questions, and they should. I understand their questions. We're working through it. And I've been on the phone with DHS and Social Circle, the government there, trying to work that out. They want to help. I think everybody wants to help, but you want to be able to make sure that you can do the job, not just be more of a problem. And so the biggest problem that we have right now is DHS can only talk to them on the phone. They would love to come down and do a big conference with the communities to let them know, but they can't come down as long as they're shut down. And there again, that's a John Ossoff thing. Man, every time he shut the government down, it's been for illegal aliens. You know, so it's not in his interest to even try to help get this thing back on. That mess they sent over that we had to take up and fix before we left Thursday, that was actually defunding ICE and Border Patrol, y'all. If that don't tell you where the Democrats really want to go, I don't know how to tell you. They want the same thing as Europe. And I just met a couple of people yesterday while I was in Dallas. I can't even remember what European country they're from. In their parliament. Where was it? Bulgaria. And they were complaining about the fact that they don't have any borders. And they don't know what to do. And so they're looking at detention centers a lot bigger than ours to try to just corral people and get them out. But that's where your problem is in that U.S. Senate and with John Ossoff. I tell them all the time, yes, ma'am. I tell them, the news media ask me all the time, MS Now, I didn't even know who they were. And she said, you know, I'm old MSNBC News. And I said, well, I don't talk to y'all. I don't want to give them any ratings. But that's what do you say to your constituents out there that are questioning all this? I said, yeah, pick up the phone, call John Ossoff and Warnock, and ask him, why did you inflict this pain on my community? Why are you making us have to feel the brunt of this mess that you caused? So anyway. Yes, ma'am.
So I don't know if y'all know this, but Mike does not receive any money from Big Pharma, which is very important to me. And we do have people running for Senate in the state of Georgia who do. And that's a very big, important issue. So Buddy Carter he's taken over $500,000 from Big Pharma, just so y'all know. Medical freedom and informed consent are incredibly important to us. So many children have been injured by vaccines and other issues as well. But we would love to hear how you feel about medical freedom and informed consent, as well as justice for these individuals who've been injured by vaccines.
They need their justice. As somebody who's got a daughter that's going to have a child and it won't be vaccinated, there are a lot of questions in that. So, but it's not just justice for medical issues either. I mean, you think about everything that's been pushed on our kids, whether it's vaccines, whether it's medical, or whether it's just even online. Whether we've got these sites that are sucking in these kids and getting them addicted to it. You know, at the end of the day, I know our parents are personally responsible. I'm personally responsible for my kid, but we need the tools to be able to make sure that we can protect them. And that's where the question comes in, that we need to make sure we can do that. So, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Why will you be a better senator than Buddy Carter?
I think what I tell people is, if you just look at the backgrounds and you look at the accomplishments that I've made, you look at I'm the only one endorsed by Turning Point Action. I'm the only one endorsed by CPAC. I'm the only one endorsed by Club for Growth. There's a reason for that. And that's because they understand where I stand, voting-wise. It's not, I don't talk bad about anybody. I just try to pull my little red wagon and tell you what I'm capable of doing. I'm not looking for a career, y'all. I got a job. I got a great job. And I do miss it sometimes. Man, when I go in my office on Monday morning to grab a cup of coffee, you don't think I miss that smell and grease? But I guarantee you one thing, I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. So, yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us if you're the successful nominee?
I'm going to win this primary.
What's that?
I'm going to win the primary.
Okay, great. How are you going to beat John Ossoff? What's your plan to do that?
Well, the first thing you don't do is show up and not have any record. You need to have a resume, and you can contrast them. And that's what I was doing when I said, when you look at the stage, that you're going to have two people that have been one-term congressman, one-term senator. And you can compare the resume and see who has actually helped the state of Georgia and the people of this state. I can assure you, I don't know of anybody, I've not ran into anybody that agreed that men should be playing in women's sports. I don't know where they're at. Anybody except for John Ossoff. And so that's the first thing you do, is you make sure, but the other thing is, he's gonna pummel the snot out of me. I know that. You know, that's coming. Y'all probably won't want to talk to me in November. Who are you? But the thing is, you've got to be able to make sure that you keep your electorate excited and they know that they've got somebody that they can depend on at the end of the day. We do that, we'll win this race. I know they're going to push. He's sitting on that, that's nothing but a drop in the bucket, what he'll have money-wise. But this race is winnable. As a matter of fact, if you look at the polling right now, I've been tied with this guy since I got in the race. Let me catch. Yes, sir.
When you are elected, what is your opinion about eliminating the filibuster? And lastly, what committees are you in, are you on in the House?
Wow, those are two good ones. One of them will get me in a lot of trouble. As a member of the House of Representatives, y'all, we have sent so many pieces of good legislation to the Senate. And it all falls in this black hole over there called the Senate, where they don't pick it up. And they always use the excuse, so we don't have 60 people, we can't close debate. So there's got to be two things to either happen. Number one, either you get 60 good solid senators over there, because we got one or two Republicans, and I'm going to ask one of them, she'll change her last name. That's a joke. It's just a joke. It's a joke. I like her. She's a good person. But, God, I'm going to get in trouble. Y'all recording this? But listen, either you get 60 good people over there, and you don't necessarily have to get 60 solid Republicans. If you know how to twist arms and get people to go with solid policy, you can get a couple of people over there to go with you from the other side. But that's your first choice. The second choice is the filibuster's only been around for a little over 100 years. It's not like, Columbus brought it with him. So, it's, to me, if we pass the legislation that needs to be passed, however we need to pass it, the American people will see the results of it, and they will reward us handsomely, and we won't have to worry about the other side getting back into control, because we'll own and we'll rule that place. Did that answer you? Kind of? I would do whatever was necessary to pass the SAVE Act. I don't care what it is.
Amen on that.
What committees are you on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But, and I will finish up. If you don't believe at the end of the day that the people in the Democrat power don't want to have illegals voting, then just look at the Save America Act, because that right there tells you everything you need to know, period. Now, as far as what I sit in on the House, I sit on the 3 best committees for the state of Georgia right now, and just in my little opinion. I sit on transportation infrastructure, I'm in natural resources, and I'm on space science and technology. And we'll go them in reverse. Space science and technology is so important because I was the sub-chair of research and technology the last time around, and Georgia Tech and Georgia use that. I mean, think about agri-science, and because it deals with AI and quantum technology and hypersonic, stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, we got a hypersonic engine manufacturer right here in Norcross, Georgia, that's sitting in Edwards Air Force Base today, flying a hypersonic airplane. And the only reason they're out there today is because you're looking at him. I crammed that through the last FAA amendment and got that set up where they could fly it. Otherwise, FAA wasn't going to give them any idea how to certify the engine. But natural resources, sitting on natural, I mean, agriculture is number one industry in this state. Forestry is number one industry. And so that was a natural fit for me. T&I was definitely a natural fit. And as a matter of fact, right now I chair the Water Resource and Environment Subcommittee. So everything Army Corps engineers, they're right here, and we're pressing them. I mean, so like Lake Lanier, any federal waterway, any lock dam, port. I went down to Brunswick. Poor place hadn't been dredged since 2015. Went down there, had a frank discussion. 3 weeks later, they get $35 million to get that dredged out down there. So I know how to get this stuff done. But that's, as a matter of fact, I've got a bill sitting in the Senate right now that has already had a hearing. It went over there bipartisan. It's got great bipartisan support. It's going to change the permitting world forever. It's dealing with the EPA. We're going to get their fannies in gear, and we're going to make them speed up what they're doing. Because in the state of Georgia, it takes 10 years to build a road. 7.5 years, you're trying to get permits and fighting lawsuits for a 2.5-year physical construction. What kind of, that don't make any sense, does it? And it's all because either the EPA drags their heels or they get tied in with these environmentalists out there and they're suing, continuously suing, just driving up the price of everything. And so we're speeding that up, 18 months. You can't tell me something in 18 months, forget it, permit issued. Courts, lawsuits, 60 days. Can't have a decision, forget it. Oh, and by the way, if you want to sue, we put frivolous lawsuits in there too. You can pay the bill.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah. Hang on, let me grab this. Yes, sir.
Following up on the lady's question about how you
Yeah, he's. I don't think he's favorability's gotten past the mid-40s yet. So I mean, here, and the other reason I'll say that John is the senator is beatable too. I mean, we've cleaned up a lot of our problem that we had in 2020. You know, we don't have drop boxes everywhere. We're not mailing out absentee ballots to everybody in your family and all your pets. And so we cleaned up the voter rolls. Is there more that we could probably do? Sure, there probably is. And I'm thankful Cash came by and paid us a visit. I hope I hope it was fruitful. Because if you did something bad, you need to pay for it. You need to be indicted. You need to pay for that. But we've done a lot of cleaning up. And when you stack that with the right candidate over in the Republican Party and the fact that this guy doesn't resemble any sort of value for the state of Georgia or Georgia's people, this guy's beatable. You just got to take it to him. Yes, sir.
Can you explain that nonsense that went on in the Senate?
You know, I don't know if y'all are all familiar with what happened on, I don't even know what day it was, Thursday night, Friday morning at 2:30 in the morning. But there was 4 people in the chamber with one person presiding, and they called unanimous consent. And if y'all have ever watched the House, this was the bill that the lady from the Northeast, she's got the purple in her hair, that was her bill. And it really, if you read the bill, it clearly states in 2 sections that ICE was going to have a dollar amount of 0. Border Patrol, 0. No. They were defunding them. And that's their whole, how else do you get open borders? Right. Get rid of the enforcement. It goes back to the same reason they don't want the SAVE Act. These people are just out in your face with it now. That's what happened. And so they passed a unanimous consent. Now over on the House side, man, you're going to put your name at the vote. We're going to see how you're going to vote. And so all we did was package up just a clean CR till May the 26th, shot it back over there 11:30 on Friday night, and let them get a handle on it and get the job done right this time. We've got to have those funded. Yes, sir.
Just trying to understand about that bill, because I was confused about the 0 money for ICE. It was my understanding that was like a 1-year bill, and that we had already funded ICE through 2020. So it would seem to me, if that's the case, it wouldn't make any difference.
Well, here's the difference, and here's where, all right, in the big beautiful bill, we did fund ICE and Border Patrol to take on the jobs of building the wall, enforcement. Every year we have to pass 12 appropriation bills. Homeland Security is one of them. That's the one we're arguing over. That's the one that pays all your civilian workers. That's the one that does your human trafficking. Those are the ones that got zeroed out. So your Border Patrol wasn't getting paid. They weren't going to have any support at all. And it's just, if you can hijack an appropriation bill and pull stuff out that you don't like and get that through, that defeats the whole purpose of what we're trying to do here. And you set precedent on that, and you start going down that road, this thing's going to go sideways and then down quick. But it was 0. And so, yes, it was defunded. That other money would be like if you had a budget and then a supplement went over the budget. Okay, that's the supplement over the budget, and that's the budget. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'll get you, sir. Just a second.
The elephant in the room. Can you please discuss the situation with Brandon Phillips?
The situation with Brandon Phillips.
Is he still affiliated with you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, first of all, thank you for coming. I want to bring up something about money and campaigns and who gets funded. I don't know how John Ossoff got elected in the first place, but it's going to always be a competition of huge money. And what I want to suggest to you in your campaign is, it doesn't take much to make an ad, $200, really. That's all it actually takes. And I think the people need to be reached out to, and I hope that your campaign, that you don't depend on just the media, the big money, because the big money is going to be with Ossoff,
Yeah.
So I think you need to have more grassroots, break the pattern of big money and come to the people
You know, man, I appreciate you asking that. We've got a Moms for Mike coalition that is exploding. Veterans Coalition. We've got farmers. We've got a number of different coalitions that we've put together. And I'll give you an example. Just what we were in session. The last week we weren't in session. We left on Monday morning, and by Thursday afternoon, I had 2,000 miles on that truck. We'd already driven that for that week. We hold on average 3 or 4 events per day with groups like this. This is where I just like being out here because I can learn a lot. I'm gonna admit it, y'all. I ain't the smartest guy in the room ever. Don't want to be. That's why I carry a smartphone, man. I get people's phone numbers. I can call and ask somebody. Yes, sir.
And you got a trucking license.
And I got a CDL. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there's a $200 billion, as I understand it, a $200 billion defense supplement to cover this Iraq situation or the Iran situation. And of course, we've got all the current happenings in Iran. Where do you stand on all that?
Well, it's necessary what we're doing over there. And for people that didn't think maybe they didn't have missiles, I think that last one that they shot that went 2,500 miles is a great example of how they lie every time they open their mouth. That is a terrorist organization. At the end of the day, they want to kill us. They want Americans dead. And if they were as close as, and I don't know, I'm not in the inner circle there that could give you any classified information other than the fact that we've been told that they were close to getting that nuclear capacity. And it's time to stop it. Now's the time to stop it. If we're going to make sure that future generations have...
Follow up to that, if you were advising President Trump on how to define success for Iran, what would you tell him?
I would tell him I would lean on my military to tell me what the options are and what's the end game. What's it going to look like? Yes, sir. But having said that, I'm going to tell you something. That man is probably 10 steps ahead of everybody else in the game. And I trust him 100% to make the right decision and the right call without calling and asking me. But he is a phenomenal man that has a grasp on what's going on. Yes, sir.
Win the election, I want you to win.
Well, I appreciate it.
Concerned about the popular vote, the people that don't belong to either the Democrat or the Republican Party. We've got to have the independents on our side. And this war is not popular. President long ago said he would not put troops on the ground, and it looks like that's where we're going. Do you have a position on that?
I'm going to stand behind what President Trump and his administration is saying that we're going to have to do to take care of this problem. Look, at the end of the day, I went to Washington, D.C. for several different reasons. One of the biggest reasons I went up there is because our kids don't have the opportunities we had. And part of that opportunity that they're losing is because of places like Iran and these terrorists and these terrorist organizations that are out there. At the end of the day, they want to annihilate us. At the end of the day, China wants to take control of us. They've already said it by 2045. So in the same lick, President Trump is not only taking care of Iran and the problem there, but he's also taking care of China with the same weaponry. So, but our kids don't have that, and I don't want to leave my country, and I don't want to have said that I went up there, and then maybe after I'm dead and gone, but they're dealing with this problem that we could have taken care of right now when we had the opportunity to, and we didn't. And we have not done that. And we've got somebody in the White House now that says, by God, not on my time, not on my watch. It's time to stop this mess. Everybody's seen it. They have killed Americans for 47 years they've been killing Americans. And it's time to stop this mess. Yes, ma'am.
I have a friend, pardon me, excuse me, was visiting yesterday. They used to live next door, and they're Jewish. They're from England, and they're big Republicans and strong Donald Trump supporters. They live in New York and Connecticut, it was, but he travels internationally. And he said that Europe, 30 years ago, had 400,000 Muslims. Today, they have 52 million. And they expect to double that in 30 years. And he said as far as England, where they're from, still have family in England, it's gone. It's resumed.
Goodness.
I thought that was very interesting.
And that was a lot of the conversation I
They
had.
have family in Israel also. They go down to bunkers every night, but they're in favor of what Donald Trump's doing.
Yes, ma'am. Hang on, I was gonna grab somebody who hadn't asked a question, but we'll go. Hang on. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you said about the different committees that you're on, and I am concerned about the Farm Bill and as well as the data centers and the Wi-Fi's and the EMF that is going out. People don't realize that they have a cellular composition to them and affect the chemical nature of human beings, plant life, animal life, and everything else. And right now, all of those standards, like with the Farm Bill, you've got really dangerous chemicals that are being, the chemical companies want the same legal immunity that Big Pharma has. And that's what they're seeking right now. And that cannot happen. What we're seeing is that industries are trying to get protections to kill with impunity. And I need to know what you're going to do to stop big, giant corporations and industries from being able to harm American citizens without liability.
Right, and well, that's kind of like all the liability, whether it's internet or whatever.
Yes.
We need to make sure that they don't have that protection.
Yes.
I mean, if you do something bad, you've got to be held liable. I mean, that's simple. That's period.
And Warnock and Ossoff, I've sent letters to both of them on the Farm Bill as well as the EMFs and all of these different chemicals and wavelengths that are going out and how they affect, and they are completely for protecting the industries. They are not for protecting citizens. They are for making sure profit is the most important.
Well, it needs safety ought to be the first. It should be safe. So,
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
You're from a rural area.
Very
Has
rural.
your area been impacted by Chinese buying farmland down there? I know there are parts of the United States where farmers, I guess because they need the money, have sold their property or either they've been tricked into selling it. I'm very upset about all this property we need in the United States that we need for agriculture going to the Chinese communists.
Yeah, I have not seen in the 10th district a lot of Chinese interest. What I have seen is a lot of foreign people coming in and buying up timberland, especially, and then taking the trees out and putting up solar panels. As a matter of fact, in Oglethorpe County, there's over 2,000 acres they've already put solar panels on. They just went and bought them 2,000 acres next to it, and they're doing the same thing there. And the only thing they're going to do is run it until the subsidy runs out, and then they're going to, you know, they're going to take off and cut out on us. And then we're going to be left holding the bag with those things.
There's no law that can prevent them from.
We've passed out of the House. Yeah, we just need to quit doing subsidies for stuff like that. I am a free market person. Nobody subsidizes trucking. You either make it or break it.
Well, Biden got all that going.
He did.
He started all that mess about solar and all that.
But back to the Communist Chinese Party. We've passed out of the House twice that they're not allowed to buy any property here. But where it's sitting is in the Senate, along with a bunch of other good stuff that we've sent over there. So I just get back to that's the problem. So, hey, they're hollering for me to, I guess we've got to go to the next thing. But listen, I appreciate y'all's time. I appreciate your questions. I'd love to have your help. Thank you. Thank you.
Mike Colllins will help John get his ass off Georgia.